And so Yuki talked, long into the night, describing everything. The abundance, the freedom, the democracy, the treatment of women, the kindness of strangers. Her parents and brother listened, sometimes angry, sometimes disbelieving, but ultimately unable to deny the evidence of her health, her knowledge, her transformed perspective.
"What you describe," her mother finally said, "sounds impossible. A dream world." "It's not a dream," Yuki insisted. "It's real. It exists. And we could build something like it here if we're willing to change."
In the weeks that followed, Yuki discovered she wasn't alone. Other former prisoners were returning with similar stories. Slowly, carefully, they began to share their experiences. Not everyone wanted to hear it. Many clung to the old ways, to pride and tradition, unable to accept that they had been wrong, but others listened. Young people especially, who had seen the cost of militarism and imperial ambition. Women who were tired of being silent and subservient. Intellectuals who recognized that Japan needed fundamental transformation. The American occupation brought changes rapidly. Land reform, constitutional revision, women's suffrage, labor rights, educational reform. Some Japanese resisted, but others, like Yuki, saw these changes as opportunities. She returned to pharmaceutical work, finding employment at a clinic serving the poor. She used her English skills to work with American medical personnel, translating and facilitating the introduction of new medicines and techniques. She joined groups advocating for women's rights and democratic reforms. It wasn't easy. She faced prejudice and suspicion. Former prisoners were often seen as tainted, compromised by their contact with the enemy. But gradually, as Japan began its long recovery, attitudes shifted. The abundance and freedom of America became aspirational rather than threatening. Democracy took root. Years later, when Yuki was an old woman, she would sit with her grandchildren and tell them stories of the war. Not just stories of suffering and defeat, but stories of an unexpected gift. The chance to see beyond propaganda, to witness a different way of living, to understand that former enemies could become friends. "The Americans didn't defeat us just with bombs," she would say. "They defeated us with abundance, freedom, and human dignity. They showed us a better way. And the greatest victory would have been if we had learned those lessons without the war." Her favorite letter, kept in a box of treasured possessions, was from Sarah Henderson, written in 1952. "Dear Yuki, I became that teacher I wanted to be. I'm teaching English to Japanese students now, helping rebuild the friendship between our countries, just like I said I would. My students remind me of you, curious and brave, ready to bridge cultures. The war seems like a lifetime ago. You were right that day on the farm. War doesn't last forever. People do. And friendship endures. Your American sister, Sarah Yuki, would read that letter and remember. Remember the fear of a rival. Remember the shock of kindness. Remember the meals and showers and classes and conversations that transformed her understanding of the world. Remember that in the darkest times, humanity could still shine through. The women who came home from American POW camps carried a truth that would help reshape Japan, that strength comes not from domination, but from dignity, not from conquest, but from compassion. They had seen the future, and it worked. Their captivity became their education, their defeat became their awakening, and their return became their mission to build a better Japan, one where freedom and human dignity were not American ideals, but universal rights.